Let's understand the concept of Databricks notebooks. Let's see what is that. Databricks notebooks. Jobs, scheduling the notebooks. Databricks notebook schedules. Let's understand what is a job. Okay, let's make it simple and straight. We perform ETL operations, storage operations like temporary views, permanent tables. We created them in our examples using notebooks. Now these notebooks, we have been executing them manually so far till date. Now let's how to automate them, how to schedule them. Inside Databricks red box, you have DBFS, the common storage, and notebooks, jobs, two important items. Jobs internally contain something called tasks. See there. Jobs contain something called tasks. Good to write our own observation notes. Though you have the complete class notes, remember jobs contain something called tasks. And you see in the diagram carefully, the tasks are attached to cluster. The tasks inside the job are attached to cluster. First task in a job can be attached to one cluster. Second task in the same job can be attached to the same cluster or another cluster. Anything it can be. You have two different color modes for clusters. What are these? Right side all purpose cluster. Down job cluster. On job cluster. Let's understand. Whatever job we create, whatever cluster, whatever compute we created previously and we have been using it, all these classes, this is all purpose compute, all purpose cluster. This can be used to run any number of notebooks, any number of jobs, in fact tasks inside the jobs. Small problem. Inside a job, one task may be allocated for one notebook dealing with terabytes of data. Another job may be dealing with another notebook related to, or another notebook may deal with few KBs or MBs of data. So task to task, there can be a variation in the amount of data we handle. There comes on job clusters. How to get them? Let's see. So we have all purpose clusters, just like a global cluster. Just like a global cluster. Common to all notebooks and jobs. Or exclusively for job. In fact, exclusively for task inside a job, we have job cluster. Let's understand it carefully. So each job is divided into tasks. Each task can be linked to an individual notebook. There can be any number of tasks in a job. What are the cluster types to create Databricks jobs? To work with Databricks jobs and tasks, we need a cluster. All-purpose cluster. We configured it in the earlier examples for regular notebook execution, as well as We are going to use it for job executions. Other one, interactive cluster. Interactive cluster is also called as job cluster. The cluster is auto created during task execution. During task execution as a part of job execution. Whenever job is executed, task will be executed. When task is getting executed, job cluster will be auto created. So this cluster, job cluster, is auto created during task execution, and this cluster is auto deleted after task execution. Observe carefully. With this information, let's see. How to create a job. Okay, here it is. How to create a job. Let's understand these two. To create a job, go to Databricks workspace. Left, create job, specify job name. Databricks workspace, create job, job name. Go to Databricks workspace, new job, this one. Click on job. Left side, new. It's not create, new job. Specify the job name. This is the interface. I'll take it as this one. I'll say, for example, Databricks job. Job 1. Okay, something like that. Every job involves tasks. I'll say task for notebook 1. Which notebook? Here it is. Select the notebook from the required user. You select the notebook. Something like this. Click confirm. So you specify the task name, type. Here it is. Specify below details. Okay, here it is. Number 1, type. Type is notebook. Next, source workspace. Here you have Git. In case if the notebook is in a Git environment, DevOps. Within our course, it is workspace. DevOps have a dedicated course anyway, a 1 month separate. For now, workspace. Path. Path. Here it is. Path would be browse for the required notebook. Only one notebook can be mentioned. Cluster. Here, for example, this one, new job cluster. This is called on job cluster. If you are using free account, it should be a single node. Let's assume we have a single node cluster and define the node size. 14 GB memory, 4 cores, 8 cores, 56 GB memory, etc. Let's go with the first one. Click confirm. What we are doing now? We are creating a cluster. Click edit. Cluster name, I'll take it as job cluster. Give some name. Click confirm. So here it is. Go to cluster. Click on new job cluster. Specify name comma size. Then your entire task is ready. Create task. Where? Inside the job. Inside the job, task getting created. Task ready. Inside the job, task ready. Click create. Okay, so here it is. I'll just make it clear in this way. So inside the job, first task ready. Okay, next let's see. Click on plus symbol. Add more tasks. Once again, here it is task 2 or task for notebook 2. Same process. Notebook. Select the required notebook like this. Confirm. We can reuse existing job cluster, the one we created previously. That is the job cluster or all purpose cluster, the one we have been using all these days. On job cluster or all purpose cluster. And this task 2 or task for notebook 2 depends on task for notebook 1. Let's leave the dependency as it is. Create task. Here we say create. Okay, then see here now. Click on plus symbol. Specify below details. Task name. Same way here also. Task name type. Create task. But here why only create? Because once we create, then a job and a task are created. First time job and task are created. Subsequent time task is created. Where task created, then the task is created inside above job. This is a concept. Well, once we create, it says dependency, right? Here it is. As on date, there is no right click option for controlling success, failure, etc. A regular dependency. Task 1, task 2. Click save task. And down right side you see schedule. For the entire job, we have schedule. Add schedule. Click on schedule. For example, to run every week or every hour or every day. Say every 6 hours. something like this, or every 12 hours, starting from morning 6 a.m., something like starting from morning 6 a.m., which time? UTC time. We can change the time zone also. We can change the time zone also as per your requirement, or leave it to UTC, Universal Time Coordinate. Cron syntax, because internally this job schedule will be governed by the underlying operating system. What is that operating system? Yes, for this particular job, you have a task. For the task, there will be a notebook. To execute the notebook, there will be a cluster. To run the cluster, there is a VM. I repeat the journey again. I repeat journey again. We are running a schedule. Right here it is. We are running a schedule. This schedule is run, or schedule is being defined for a job. Job has one or more tasks. Each task has a notebook attached to it, and the notebook needs a cluster to run, right? And the cluster is configured on top of a VM, and the VM has an underlying OS. It is Ubuntu OS. This one, Ubuntu OS, Linux environment. Ubuntu Linux environment demands something called cron syntax, called command run on, just like run as command in Windows. We generally say, for example, go to Windows and run as, we call, right? Something like this, run as, just like run as, right? Something like this. Same way here we go. We say run as, cron syntax we call, command run on. So it is basically a Linux environment. Internally, we don't have any admin access to that underlying OS. Remember, as a data engineer, we have nothing to do with the underlying OS. Remember that. We cannot control, we cannot configure those OS components. Cluster is made up of few worker nodes, driver nodes. They require memory, processor. That memory and processor are actually resourced by VM. This one. 4 CPUs, 14 GB memory. What is this? This is our single node cluster configuration we did few minutes back. 4 CPUs, 14 GB memory. So the VM configuration is actually depending on the cluster configuration. VM is configured with Ubuntu. It requires cron syntax. Back to our nodes. Here it is. The job schedule runs as an Ubuntu Linux variation, Linux cron, CRON, command run on threads. This is the concept. Now what we do? Yes, here it is. Right side. Once your job is created, right side, click on schedule. and define the schedule for job execution. This is the actual background story. What is that? We are scheduling a job. Job is containing tasks. Tasks contain notebook. Notebook require cluster. Cluster require VM. VM has a Ubuntu OS. Ubuntu OS require cron syntax. So schedule requires cron syntax. That is the concept here. With this information ready, our job is ready. Back, click save, schedule it and ready. There is alternative way to create a job. Yes, we are working on scheduling the notebook. Assume, for example, there is a notebook with widgets. So far we are learning how to create a notebook job or a job to schedule the notebook without any parameters. What if there is a notebook with parameters? How to schedule it? We know how to define notebooks with parameters, widgets. We know it from the earlier classes. Now our requirement, how to schedule. I removed few parameters, but there are few more already. This should be enough. This should be sufficing us for our example now. Click on schedule. Just click on schedule directly from the notebook. For any notebook with parameters, without parameters, we can define schedule. Click on schedule. It's a simple way. Job name, I'll call it as Databricks job 2. Schedule every day at, for example, 6 p.m. By default, it takes the browser connection time zone. Asia Calcutta. It's a browser connection time zone, it takes automatically. We can change it to UTC or any other format of your choice, any other time of your choice, time zone. New job cluster or use existing job cluster. 14 GB memory, 4 cores. Back, 14 GB memory, 4 cores, 4 virtual CPUs. Parameter, default path, default value of the parameter. Whenever the job is success or failure, you would like to get notification alerts to one or more email addresses, something like this. No extra charge is involved for these notifications. Back to our notes. How to create job. Option number 1. Option 1, using jobs creation GUI. Option 2, using notebooks interface. Job creation interface, notebook interface. There are 2 options. And this is the complete story so far for the first option. What about second option? Let's complete the notes here. For the second option, what we do? Go to workspace. Go to workspace. Left side workspace. Click on required users and then click on required notebook. Here you go. Cancel to show you again. Go to workspace, left side workspace, required user, right? And then again users and notebook. Open the notebook. If required, you run it manually first. You test it. Run one cell at a time or run all. You test it first. Then click on schedule. Here you go. Click on required notebook. Run this one. Run all. Run all to test the notebook. The standard practice. Run it first. Test it. The test environment. Then you schedule it. Then click on schedule. Click on schedule and provide job name. Create job cluster if needed. If not, use existing one. Existing all purpose cluster. Define schedule. It will take browser connection time zone automatically. Set parameter values if needed. Set parameter values if needed. Okay, I'll just take it this way. Please wait. Yes, so here it is. Yes, I'll just have some space like this to make it clean and straight. Set parameter values if needed. Then what next? Click create. Give alerts also. Configure alerts. Configure alerts and click create. So far you got 2 jobs created. Click create. Yes, we created 2 jobs. Once we get these 2 jobs created, right, our requirement, let's see. You got 2 jobs created now. Let's understand how to track the jobs. Item number 4, how to verify or trace above created jobs. Here it is. Workspace left side. Go to workspace left side. Something called workflows. Here are the jobs. What is that? Workflows. By heart these new items. You run the job manually or wait for the schedule. Now, for example, you go to the first job. You go to the first job. Where it is? Tasks, right? This one, tasks. Select each task and we can edit. Now, why I went to the first task? Because I would like to show you how to edit the job. Down you see notifications. Edit notifications, add. Same thing as earlier. Give some required email receiver, the email operator. Click confirm. Back here it is workflows. We see above created jobs and their executions, also called runs. Now our requirement, how to edit an existing job. Workspace, then here it is. Click on required job, second tab called tasks. Select each task and perform edits. And right side, edit schedules, notifications, permissions, etc. What is second tab? Let me show you once again. This one, runs and task. Select each task and do edit save task. Perform edits, then save task. Okay, something like this. Right side, edits. Once you do any edit activities, okay, something like this, can manage, run, click save. Okay, just something like this, can manage, run, or something like this. Give some edit activities like this. Add. Do some modifications in this. I repeat, edit permissions to one particular user. You would like to give owner or manage, run permissions like this. This is one of the users we created in the earlier classes from security perspective. We save it. Click save. Right side, modifications auto saved. Left side you have to save manually. Concurrent runs. If the jobs respond slow, highly recommended to increase the concurrent runs. Confirm. It is going to have some impact on the cost, but positively better performance. Maximum concurrent runs. Here it is. Here we go. How to edit existing job, and then next. Here we have something called as concurrent runs, etc. So far we learned how to create the jobs, verify the jobs, edit jobs, or trace the jobs, notification. You practice these items carefully as usual, and do let me know for doubts, clarifications if any.